Once again, good morning. This is Teacher Joker from Wachukachu School. I am the homeroom teacher of grade 5/1. Okay, class, today is Tuesday and the date for today is 27 of July 2021. Our subject for today, class, is science, and our topic for today is about decomposer. So we're going to look into the meaning of decomposer. So are you ready, class? Okay, I hope everybody's ready. So we're now going to start our lesson for today. So, okay, before we start, I would like to show first the vocabulary for this morning. So let's start now. What are decomposers? What are decomposers? When we say decomposers, these are another group of organisms at the end of each food chain. Okay, so let's review our previous topic, which is about food chain. When we say food chain, this shows the relationship between producer and the consumers. Okay, and again, the composers mostly at the end of each food chain. So on the next slide, I will be giving you an example of decomposers, or what actually are the decomposers. So we're going to take a look on the example of a food chain over here. We discussed before that a food chain shows the relationship between the producer and the consumer. So I have here an example when it starts with a grass. So a grass here is the producer. Why? Because it produces food for the consumers. Okay, we have here also a grasshopper. A grasshopper eats the grass. And then a frog eats the grasshopper. And then the crocodile eats the frog. And then afterwards, the crocodile will die. And then on the dead body of the crocodile, bacteria and fungi will grow. So this bacteria and fungi that grows on the dead body of the crocodile is what we call a decomposer. Okay? So an example of a decomposer is a bacteria, or we have also fungi. Why? Because decomposer is a kind of organisms that grows on the dead body of a living things. Okay, so on the next slide, I will be showing you another example. So again, I used the example a while ago, wherein grass is our producer, and then the grasshopper eats the grass, the frog eats the grasshopper, and then the crocodile eats the frog. And then if the crocodile dies, bacteria and fungi will break down the body of the crocodile. So bacteria and fungi are the decomposers in this food chain. Okay? Why is it bacteria and fungi are considered decomposer? Because they grow or they live on the dead body of the crocodile. Okay, they're going to break down the body of a dead animal. So grass here is our producer, grasshopper, frog, and crocodile, those are consumers. Okay, so now I have a question over here. Who will eat the producer? Who eats the producer? It's the consumer. Okay, or consumers eats the producer. Can you give me an example of producer? Again, producers are plants. Why plants? Because producers are any living things that use the energy of the sun to process or make its own food. And that is a plant. Okay, class? And then, what are consumers? These are animals that eat other animals. So again, who eats the producer? It's the consumer. Okay? So I have here an examples of decomposer. So a while ago I mentioned a mushroom. So a mushroom is considered a decomposer because it can grow on the dead body of animals. Okay, so we have also worm. Worm is considered a decomposer because it lives on the dead part of some living things. So aside from worm, we have insects and bacteria. So these are just some of the examples of decomposers that we're talking about. Okay, so again, what is a decomposer? A decomposer is any bacteria and fungi that grows from the dead body of animals. Okay, so the examples are mushrooms, worms, insects, and bacteria, or we have also fungi. Okay, class, so those are the examples of decomposer. For your activity today, class, you're going to write an example of consumers, producers, and decomposers. So what are the examples of producers? Okay, I will give you a clue. Producers are living things that uses the energy of the sun to process its food. So that is a plant. Okay, so you can write any kind of plants there in producers. And then consumers, write any animals that can eat what you wrote on the column of producers. And the composers, I gave you an example already, such as mushroom, fungi, insects, and other more. Okay, class? So that's all for your activity. So that's all for today, and see you again tomorrow. If you have any question about the activity, kindly message me in line again. And by the way, class, don't forget to take photo of your activity and send in the line. Thank you. Come here.